So happy to be here with you all. Yes. My name is Viola. I'm Venezuelan, living in Cyprus. Before Venezuela, it was Lebanon, and before Lebanon, I was born in Iraq. So I'm a transcultural person who works in transcultural psychotherapy and mentoring. We started in Budapest formally in February 2022 when Anne-Marie visited us in Cyprus. So we're quite young, but we've been talking about it for a while. Today, we heard a lot about the SDGs and sustainability, subject that I've been working with for some years. My goal is the number 17, connectedness. Because without connectedness, actually, it's going to be very difficult to achieve. One is to be in this oneness, and then how my oneness connect with yours, and how through conscious connection we can make it between all of us. Because of that, I think we cannot leave anybody behind. Everybody deserves the best. So my goal for many, many years has been that everybody should have a mentor. A mentor because nobody should live their pain alone. And also, nobody should struggle in their creativity alone. So mentors to go through the pain, or mentors to go into the creativity and achieve quicker and better. So for many years, I've been working in several projects that everybody should have a mentor. That means we need to train many mentors in the world. What does it mean for us? And what does it mean mentoring? Is that all of us, we have experience in life. And how we can pass that experience to others in a professional way. There is one subject very interesting nowadays, which is cross-generational mentoring. Me, I have mentors who help me to understand how to work with this, as it just happened to us. So this is young people who's helping us with more age, that internet was not part of our life, to be able to be more efficient. And we can train in another subject that we have had experience in life, to be able to mentor them, and then they go quicker, better, deeper, and with more expansion. I am the co-founder of Greek Academy, and Greek Academy is an organization, a social organization with social responsibility that we do self-development, personal development, personal improvement in different levels, individual, family, organization. And from that, and because I've been a breath worker since almost 30 years and being a psychotherapist, I have seen so many times, what does it mean to start breathing consciously? What does it mean, the consciousness in the breath, with the breath? Our slogan in Greek Academy is resilience, breathing organic resilience for sustained well-being, individually, family, community-wise, and so forth to the global. Now, from my experience as a psychotherapist and mentor, I have seen so many times how our breath was contained, was like the brake put on, and we could not live fully in all our capacity because of fear, because of anger, because of many reasons. And I have observed what is the beauty of opening the breath, of taking that limitation away. From my experience as a breath worker and therapist, this is 30 years of observation. Then I met Eline some years ago. And Eline, she will tell us her own experience as chiropractor, as somebody who observed so many pregnant women, deliveries, and newborn baby. What does it mean, that first breath? And together, we come with one of the first projects that the group of Budapest, Cyprus, going to deliver, which is first breath. Welcome, Eline.
So yeah, my name is Eline Pedersen. I'm a doctor of chiropractic, and I'm from Norway, which is a bit further north, but I live in Cyprus, and I have my practices in Cyprus and in Scotland. So, and I'm also it's important for the context that I took the initiative to an organization called Birth Forward. Birth Forward is a non-profit organization that we have founded and grown together with many beautiful people. It is an organization that works for advocacy, support and education around the time of creating a family. And the concept builds around several pillars or bridges. I love to come to Budapest because I think about the bridges of different concepts and sides. And it's the idea to bridge both the parent or the birthing mother and the practitioners or the gynecologists and midwives to birth the subject from early pregnancy to childhood, and to also in Cyprus bridge the two sides of the island, which is a politically split island. So coming from that context and as a chiropractor, I have great passion from the experiences, the education and the observations I've done I've looked into when could possibly be one of the most critical times in our life, and the effect of the most critical time on not just ourselves, but our family, our community, and our society. So when we think about the first breath, to go directly to the point, I observed, and I would like to ask the question, because I very much agree, and we are far behind our previous presentation in terms of their actions. But I love what I heard there, because we're thinking in a similar way that maybe one of our questions, or our question could be one of the questions to submit to your project. Because my question and what we are thinking about is like, what is the effect of not protecting that first breath? So imagine the very first time you take a breath, that moment you are born, and if that moment is or has different scenarios. For example, is that breath a breath that you take with ease and with peace, physically, chemically, mentally? Is that breath taken in an environment where you felt safe? You're coming from a wet, warm, damp, very noisy environment, which is inside the person, and then you come out and it's a transition that's easy, or is it not? The opposite scenario might be that you come out and it's cold, it's dry, it's sharp, and what do we know so far about the nervous system is that it reacts to our environment quite a lot. So maybe we could make a theory, if we're going to take some theories and maybe question those theories, that if we could start our very first breath with an ease, that maybe has a positive effect. So looking a little bit at some of the research that's been done, and I really like the research. I was fortunate to meet Michel Laurent, Dr. Michel Laurent, who is one of the probably oldest gynecologists around, and he talks about, or his summary from the primary research database, that is a collection of data that he has been behind. It talks about the effect, it's all retrospective studies, so it's looking at the cause and effect from asking what happened before, right? So all the studies that he has collected are retrospective. And he looked at effects of different interventions, and his conclusion is that it appears from this research that the most potential or the most important time for the effect of our physical, emotional, psychological state of health and mind later in life is that moment of birth. Maybe the moment of the first breath as well. So we can think about the transfusion that's happening in that time. And I have from my own experience, and I want to share that, my second birth in particular. I had two sons, and the second birth I had was at home, it was in my own environment, it was in water. It was literally a symphony between me and my son in that moment. And I had the experience of when he was born, he came into the water and he stayed in the water for a little while before we took him out. And my conscious observation of that, and spiritual observation of that, I think, was that there was this transfusion of all these incredible nutrients coming through, and then energetic transmission as well, very much in the context of what we're talking about for the new paradigm and the energetic transmission, to the baby in that moment of time, before he had to take his first breath. So his first breath was really infused with all the nutrients from that umbilical cord. And it was an easy breath. And so from that experience, I started asking a lot more questions, because I've seen many cesareans, I've seen many births that were not optimal, that was quite traumatic. And I've seen a lot of transformation happening when we are treating them as chiropractors and releasing the pressure, particularly around the skull base, where all of our cranial nerves are coming out and helping us to feed and to drink and to eat in that very first moment of life. How the thriving effect is there or not. How that intuition to take life on is there, or it's a fear and maybe a choice that this is a dangerous place. So my really end point of this conversation and the question lies in what is the effect, what is the social and the socio-economic and effect of us if we made a concept around protecting that first breath as the drop in the water, where it hits the water and all the ripple effects. Of course, there are many aspects of the environment, of the social interactions and of education and everything else that's important. How we eat, how we sleep, how our stress levels are. But could we take that moment of time and elaborate on it together? And I would love to be able to first take an initiative like yourselves, where there's a think tank, bringing in people from all sorts of backgrounds, from theology to AI to gynecology and pediatrics and science aspects of all areas. And of course, the actual mothers that are there in the moment, I think is very important. But that we could get together and have a discussion and see in a similar pattern or process that yourselves have done with the Gaia project to create a next step to it. And to see where is this going to, what can we do, and is it an important question to take into action. I'm super passionate about it, as you can understand, and I really would like to see, to have these conversations together. And I was very fortunate to meet Erwin Lazar and Carita, to host them at my house some years back, which is the reason why I'm here today, because we had this conversation and Erwin was very interested at that time about bringing an attention to that aspect of the very first. So every single human being is important in all of our projects, right? Every single human being is really important, because without the people in it, it doesn't matter. So if we can think about when can we have the biggest impact for the people that are now being born, for what they are going to give to this planet in the future, I think we have to think about what are we doing to them when they come to this world, because that moment is so critical.
Indeed. So emotional well-being is a key for us to achieve whatever we want. Being touching the earth here and there, being traveling for hours to meet with friends, being here in our physical body, but we cannot ignore what is the emotional impact that that first breath had given us, and all the other breath that has followed. So this is one of the first projects we're going to do in the Club of Budapest in Cyprus. We have some others, but for now we're going to focus on that, plus the mentoring for everybody, and we're going to have some alliance with the Global Mentors Network and some more other organizations that we can team and do work together. Thank you so much for your attention. And let's all of us have a very conscious inhale. And exhale, make it happen very slowly, please. Don't push it out quickly. Imagine that we have all the time of the world to inhale and exhale, and to do everything we need to do quite quick. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.